We've brought history's most handsome men back to life. Actors, soldiers, even royalty. Their faces survived centuries, and in a moment, you'll see why they still captivate us. Eugen Sandow sculpted his body into classical perfection, becoming the father of modern bodybuilding. With chiseled features, godlike proportions, and magnetic stage presence, he transformed physical culture forever, a symbol of strength, masculinity, and beauty, who proved the male form could be living art itself. Charlie Chaplin could twist his face into comedy gold, but beneath the tramp costume were refined, delicate features that were undeniably attractive. With expressive eyes, graceful bone structure, and natural elegance, this silent film legend proved that true beauty lies in both artistry and appearance. Andrew Irvine disappeared on Everest in 1924, but not before his noble features and adventurer's gaze became legendary, with youthful determination etched across his face and dreams of conquering the impossible. This Oxford rower embodied the spirit of exploration, handsome, fearless, and forever frozen in mountaineering mythology. Rudolph Valentino was the original screen heartthrob of the 1920s. With his smoldering gaze, exotic charm, and passionate intensity, he defined silent film seduction and became a cultural icon of romantic masculinity, a legend whose beauty caused mass hysteria and changed Hollywood forever. John Kubelík was a violin virtuoso whose youthful face and soulful gaze captured hearts across Europe. With the delicate features, intense eyes, and an artist's grace, this Czech prodigy mesmerized audiences, not just with his instrument, but with his romantic presence that defined musical genius itself. Oscar Wilde was flamboyant, witty, and devastatingly handsome, a cultural icon whose looks were as memorable as his words. With refined features, piercing intelligence, and unapologetic charm, this Irish literary genius commanded every room he entered, proving that beauty and brilliance could coexist in perfect harmony. Benjamin Piatt Runkle was a Civil War veteran and founding father of the Sigma Chi fraternity. With his refined Victorian features, thoughtful gaze, and distinguished presence, he embodied the ideals of brotherhood and honor, a gentleman scholar whose classical good looks matched his legacy of leadership. Ernest Hemingway exuded rugged magnetism that grew with age. Whether young or weathered, his face told a story. Bold, wild, unforgettable. With strong features, intense eyes, and raw masculine energy, this literary titan didn't just write adventure, he lived it, embodying the untamed spirit of American manhood. Anthony Fokker was more than just a brilliant aircraft designer. His striking looks and daring spirit made him a star of the early aviation era. With sharp features, piercing eyes, and fearless ambition, this Dutch pioneer didn't just build legendary planes, he embodied the romance of flight itself. Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky composed music that stirred souls worldwide, and his refined features matched the emotion in every note. With melancholic eyes, elegant bearing, and a poet's sensitivity, this Russian master possessed a gentle beauty, tortured genius, and romantic charm, woven into one unforgettable presence. Josef Waitzer was an athlete with the face of a matinee idol. His strong jawline, classical profile, and perfectly symmetrical features looked more like a movie star than a runner. This Austrian champion proved that physical excellence and striking beauty could exist in perfect harmony. Thomas Edison might be known for his inventions, but his piercing gaze and dignified presence made him a figure of allure as well as intellect. With sharp features, intense eyes, and quiet confidence, this American genius proved that brilliance could be just as captivating as beauty. Lewis Powell was a Confederate conspirator whose haunting mugshot became infamous. With strikingly handsome features, intense eyes, and an enigmatic expression, his photograph captured a dangerous allure, beauty intertwined with tragedy, frozen in time, as one of history's most captivating and controversial faces. John Barrymore was Hollywood royalty and the original great profile, a nickname earned by his impossibly perfect features. With sculpted cheekbones, smoldering eyes, and commanding stage presence, this legendary actor defined romantic leading men, proving that classical beauty and raw talent could create cinematic immortality. Rupert Brooke was a war poet, idolized not only for his words, but for his angelic beauty that defined the Edwardian ideal. With golden hair, classical features, and a tragic destiny, he embodied poetic romance, a symbol of youth and beauty lost to World War I. Frederick Douglass was a towering figure in American history, abolitionist, orator, and writer. With commanding presence, piercing eyes, and dignified strength, his powerful features reflected an unbreakable spirit. This self-made intellectual possessed a magnetic intensity that matched his words, proving beauty lies in courage and conviction. Ferruccio Busoni was a musical polymath, virtuoso pianist, composer, and visionary. With intense eyes, refined features, and an intellectual aura, this Italian-German maestro possessed a magnetic elegance. His aristocratic bearing and penetrating gaze reflected the depth of his genius, making him unforgettable both on stage and off. William Butler Yeats was Ireland's greatest poet, and his romantic features matched the beauty of his verse. With dreamy eyes, refined bone structure, and bohemian elegance, this literary icon possessed a brooding magnetism. Thoughtful, passionate, and unforgettably handsome throughout his transformation from youthful dreamer to elder statesman. Almanzo Wilder lived a quiet pioneer life on the American frontier, but his calm eyes and rugged charm inspired generations through Little House on the Prairie. With honest features, gentle strength, and steadfast determination, he embodied the heartland hero, hard-working, handsome, and unforgettably devoted. Hermann Rorschach created a test that revealed the human psyche, and with his intense stare and brooding features, he could have been part of it himself. This Swiss psychiatrist possessed a haunting magnetism, piercing eyes, and intellectual allure that matched the mystery of his legendary ink blots. Douglas Fairbanks was the swashbuckling king of early Hollywood, known for his athletic stunts and dazzling charisma. With a megawatt smile, chiseled physique, and boundless energy, he brought legendary heroes like Zorro and Robin Hood to life with effortless style and irresistible charm. Sessue Hayakawa was a Japanese silent film star who became an international sex symbol in the 1910s. With his brooding gaze, chiseled features, and quiet strength, he shattered stereotypes and became one of Hollywood's first heartthrobs. Exotic, mysterious, and undeniably magnetic. Franz Liszt was a piano virtuoso who drove audiences into hysteria, not just with his music, but with his striking looks. With flowing hair, intense eyes, and rock star charisma, This Hungarian legend was the original celebrity heartthrob, causing fainting spells and mass adoration wherever he performed. Anton Chekhov was a literary genius who captured the human soul in his stories and plays. With soulful eyes, refined features, and melancholic elegance, this Russian master possessed a quiet magnetism, his thoughtful gaze and gentle demeanor reflecting the depth and beauty of his timeless work. Johannes Brahms had a soulful, romantic look in his youth, the kind of face that matched the deep emotion in his music. With thoughtful eyes, gentle features, and poetic sensitivity, this German composer possessed a quiet handsomeness that reflected the passion and melancholy of his timeless compositions. Norman Carey was a swashbuckling American actor often called the Clark Gable of the 1920s. With sleek features, penetrating eyes, and adventurous aura, he dominated silent cinema alongside Lon Chaney. His refined masculinity and timeless elegance made him a symbol of silent-era sophistication and charm. Richard Francis Burton traveled the world as explorer, linguist, and adventurer. With his commanding beard, intense eyes, and battle-scarred presence, he embodied Victorian masculinity at its peak. This fearless polymath possessed a dangerous magnetism, rugged, intellectual, and utterly unforgettable in both appearance and legendary exploits. Francis Ickes Bushman was silent cinema's first muscle-bound heartthrob, known as the handsomest man in the world. With a sculpted physique, chiseled features, and commanding presence, he dominated early Hollywood as the original king of the movies, setting the standard for leading men everywhere. John Wilkes Booth was a celebrated stage actor with matinee idol looks that captivated theater audiences across America. With dark, brooding eyes, refined features, and dramatic charisma, his striking beauty and talent made him a star, before one fateful act forever darkened his legacy with infamy. Wallace Reid was Hollywood's golden boy in the 1910s and early 1920s, the all-American heartthrob with $1 million smile. With clean-cut features, sparkling eyes, and wholesome charm, he embodied the perfect leading man, captivating audiences worldwide before his tragic downfall shocked the nation. Harold Lockwood was one of silent cinema's most beloved leading men, known for his romantic roles and gentlemanly charm. With refined features, kind eyes, and an earnest smile, he captured hearts as the ideal romantic hero, handsome, sincere, and tragically taken too soon by the Spanish flu. William Terrace was a Victorian stage star with dramatic flair and matinee idol looks, the heartthrob of his era. With commanding presence, dashing features, and swashbuckling charisma, he captivated London's theater world as the ultimate romantic hero, until his shocking murder made headlines worldwide. Earle Williams was once voted the most popular film actor in America during silent cinema's golden age. With romantic looks, heroic jawline, and magnetic screen presence, he captivated millions in adventurous serials and dramas, setting the standard for early movie stardom with his timeless all-American handsomeness. Gustave Le Gray was a photography pioneer who revolutionized the medium, yet his own intense profile made him a portrait subject worthy of his art. With brooding features, penetrating gaze, and artistic mystique, this French master possessed the captivating allure he captured in others. Francis Parkman chronicled America's frontier history and looked like he stepped out of a romantic novel himself. With thoughtful eyes, refined features, and poetic demeanor, this historian possessed a gentle handsomeness, intellectual elegance, combined with adventurous spirit, embodying the scholarly gentleman of the 19th century. Robert Gould Shaw led one of the first all-black regiments in the Civil War, and his idealistic gaze and noble bearing are etched in history. With refined features, youthful determination, and unwavering courage, this Boston aristocrat possessed a heroic beauty that matched his legendary sacrifice for justice. James Stark was a painter whose own Victorian portrait reveals a soft intensity and dignified beauty that transcends his art. With gentle features, contemplative eyes, and refined elegance, this Scottish artist possessed a quiet magnetism, proving that creative genius and striking handsomeness could exist in perfect harmony. William R. Pettiford was a pioneering African-American banker and civil rights leader in Birmingham, Alabama. With distinguished features, intelligent eyes, and dignified presence, he embodied success and determination during the Jim Crow era, proving that excellence, leadership, and striking handsomeness could break through any barrier. Antonio Moreno was the Spanish-born actor who became the original Latin lover of early cinema. With smoldering eyes, refined features, and exotic charm, he dominated cliffhanger serials and captivated millions worldwide, a sophisticated heartthrob who paved the way for generations of romantic leading men. Konstanty Zamoyski was Polish nobility, and his portrait reflects a blend of youth, aristocratic class, and hauntingly gentle beauty. With refined features, melancholic eyes, and dignified bearing, this young count embodied the romantic ideal of European aristocracy, elegant, mysterious, and achingly beautiful in his tragic brevity. Yone Noguchi had a delicate, ethereal beauty that stood out even among literary circles of the Meiji and Edwardian eras. With refined features, contemplative eyes, and poetic grace, this Japanese writer bridged East and West, his gentle handsomeness reflecting the lyrical sensitivity of his groundbreaking work. Mike Tiernan was a baseball star of the 1890s, and his clean-cut good looks and athletic build embodied the early American sports hero. With a strong jaw, confident gaze, and all-American charm, this New York Giants outfielder proved that athleticism and classic handsomeness went hand in hand. Thanks for watching. Share this with a friend and make sure to subscribe. There's another incredible historical revival coming soon.